I was getting ready to say good morning, but it's actually evening. Give me a second. Hope everybody's doing well. We are doing our Bill with Tanya Live segment. I'm really excited about this one. It means a lot to me because of what I'm seeing and what I've been experiencing, especially with entrepreneurs who are maybe teeter tottering during this particular season. Let me sign on with Instagram. I think I'm doing this properly. So I normally don't, but I did it last week. So I thought I would do it again. Let me intentional, put a title in there. Too bad I can't do that early. How's everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing well, having an amazingly profitable, prosperous week, year, first quarter. I thought maybe I would see this somewhere so that I can share it, but I don't. Maybe it'll come back up. But excuse me, for those of you, what I'm seeing is people are either really, really clear about what they want to do in this season or really, really uncertain. And if you're kind of teeter tottering or leaning towards the latter, this broadcast is definitely for you. You see in the title, it has building your business through intentional living. So, in my line of work, I'm a master life coach and business coach. Hey there, what's that? PDK Beauty Supply? How are you? Um, I normally get people who come to me who are uncertain about their next move or what it is that they want to do. But in this season, especially, I find that so many people are just uncertain altogether. Like they don't even know if they want to continue doing what they've been doing all along. And so I want to talk about something that I think is going to be profound for those of you who are in this season. And one of the reasons I think is so prominent in this season where people are feeling like they just aren't sure if they want to do this thing that they've been doing all of their life the same way they've been doing it in their business, their career. There are many people in corporate America who are, they're uncertain. They're like, I think I want to step into entrepreneurship. You want to do this forever. Okay, awesome. That's beautiful. So you're in the beginning stage of what I mentioned, which was those who are super clear about what they're doing, and then there are those who aren't. And so this is probably for those of you who are uncertain. Maybe you know someone, PDK Beauty Supply, that you can share this broadcast with. It's going to be talking about intentional living. I believe that most people are living their lives on autopilot. I'm going to say that once more. Most people are living their lives on autopilot, meaning they're just going through the routine. They go to work every day. They go to work in their business every day, or they do the things that they normally do in their business. And a lot of what's transpiring is because of what they have been taught by society, right? So society says this is the way, it's supposed to be done. And they're just kind of following down that path. But at the same time, on the inside, they're not completely fulfilled in that process. Women of virtue, hey there, how are you? So we're going to talk about something that I embraced myself that has been absolutely amazing for me. It has changed, one, how I do business, two, how I do life, right? It's changed how I do life. And I began to really evaluate what was transpiring in my life and whether or not it felt great to me, and also evaluate what the world was saying, that I needed to be doing. I've always been maybe the girl that once she makes up her mind, it is what it is, regardless of what's going on around me. But I did hit a stage in my life where, the voices that were around me and the people that were in my ear were completely against, what it was that I was setting out to do. And so I really had to reevaluate my life and my business and make sure that I was in complete alignment with what it is that I wanted to do. So I shared that most people are in a state of, 1 second, I'm trying to see something, guys, where their life is on autopilot and they're just kind of going through the motions. And I believe this time during COVID-19, it has really brought about, I don't know why this isn't showing up anywhere. It has really brought about a time where people are really evaluating their lives, but they just aren't certain about whether or not it's possible. If that's you and you're like, okay, I've been doing this for a while, or this is just simply not what I want to do anymore, I want to challenge you to do a couple things. I'm going to list about 4 or 5 things that will set you in the space of intentional living. And what intentional living is, before we get too far into the broadcast, is really taking the time to evaluate your beliefs and your values and aligning your life fully with it. Because many of you have values and beliefs that aren't in alignment with maybe, excuse me, the way that your industry is doing business, or maybe the way that people in your family are, earning revenue or doing life. And because of that, you haven't felt comfortable really aligning with your beliefs and your values. Some of you may not even really fully know what your true values and beliefs are. That was me. This is the only reason I can tell you guys this is from experience. So I never sat down. This has been many years ago now, decades now. But I never really sat down and made a firm decision about what I believed and what I valued, right? And what I thought I valued as I continued to grow personally, and really become aware about who I was. Those things changed. And changing meant going outside of, coloring outside of the line, or going outside of the box, or doing things that weren't necessarily traditional, but I really believed them in my heart. And so if you are in a space where you're feeling a tug or nudge to do things differently, you're going to have to become intentional about that thing. So we're going to talk about intentional living. I'm going to do a quick introduction for those of you. This is your first time, especially those of you. Hey, Crystal. Hey, girl. How are you? Especially those of you on Instagram, because I'm normally not on Instagram. But if this is your first time in a broadcast with me, say hello in the comments. Don't be a stranger. Let me know what you do as a business, the name of your business, how you serve in the world, how people get to experience your gifts. And then number 2, if it's not your first time at the rodeo, put hashtag renew in the comments. And renew is because that's a lot of what we do around here. We're renewing. I believe exactly what scripture says. It says we shall be renewed, we shall be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And so mindset is one of the top 3 things that I teach on. I teach on abundance mindset, personal growth, and business building. I believe they're the perfect 3 if you're wanting to really continue growing in your life and your business. And I do that through coaching and consulting. So I help women in business create businesses that fund their lifestyle and not run their lifestyle. And I do that by helping them go within. So we build our businesses from the inside out, getting really clear and defined on who you are as a brand, and your values, and then creating a business model and systems in your business that are in alignment with that. It's the best thing you can ever do, because there's so much fulfillment when you build from that space. Now, I'm not saying that's the only way that you can build your business. There are many people who build businesses only for the money, and they're not in alignment with it. They're not connected to it. It's just the money. But most of the clients that I attract are building purpose. They have purpose-driven businesses that really serve a bigger purpose in the world. They have heart-centered businesses. And it works. Definitely works for me. I am so blessed and so fortunate. I've transitioned from a career that in an industry I was in for a few decades, and I work from home. So my business is time rich. I have so much time freedom, which is one of my top 5 values, as well as financially. I have just done amazing in my transition in my new business, replaced my income, and really changed my mindset about how I earn money, if I could say that. Let me see, did I put this? Oh, okay, it's correct. Things just maybe because I have two screens and I normally don't have two screens, so you guys bear with me. But I've had an opportunity to be home with my daughter, especially during this time. It's been absolutely amazing. So I am actually location free. I can work from anywhere. And for the past 5 months, I haven't been in my hometown. So I am in a completely different area. My daughter is virtual in school. Miss Wilkes, how are you? And the freedom is one that I didn't even know existed maybe a little over a decade ago. So for those of you who are, you're uncertain, you have this pull, this tug to do something different, to transition into something different, to reinvent yourself. I'm here to tell you that it is absolutely possible. I have the pleasure of helping many women in business grow, build, and scale their business, and many transition from trading time for dollars into creating coaching programs and signature courses that really bring another level of prosperity to their entire family. So they're not working more, they're working less, but they're just providing more value from a space that's really intentional. And so I share with you that most people are on autopilot, um, get a job, stay on it until you turn 65, retire, or even autopilot as it relates to how they're building their business based on how it's being done online. I'm finding that many people are overwhelmed, uncertain, and just consumed by all of the activities that they're having to do just to, continue moving forward. And I'm here to tell you guys that when I began to really change my energy about what it was that I was doing, things began to flow to me with much more ease. And I just don't believe that this building a business is about hustling. I made a post on Instagram, I believe, and a young lady commented and she said so many, I don't know if she used the word gurus, but so many marketers were teaching that, you got to do it quick and fast and hustle. And that's just not my experience, right? It's not my experience, but mainly because I made a decision that that wasn't ideal for me. Like I wasn't available for that anymore. And we really don't get what we want as we're building our business and our lives. We get what we believe, right? And so if we believe that it has to be hard or it can't be done, then that's absolutely what will transpire in our life and our business. So I want to talk about being intentional living throughout your entire life. It's like a big wake up call when you begin operating in this particular space. So the number one thing that you have to do is slow down long enough to take some time to reflect. And so many business owners are working in their business so much, or they're doing all the things until they have a fear about actually slowing down long enough to process it, or maybe to implement different systems and do it differently. But if you're going to be intentional about creating the business and lifestyle that you love, you have to take the time, you have to slow down and take time to reflect and say, is this what I want to be doing? Am I doing life the way I desire to do life? It's a question that I think it may cross our mind. And then because we may not have the how immediately, we overlook it or we pass over it. But if you're going to, live in this space of intentionality and really align with your values and your true vision, the one that's in your heart, right? That you may be pushing down because you don't really think it's possible. And moving into that space of intentional living, you're going to have to slow down long enough to reflect. That's number one. That's the first thing that you'll need to do, is slow down long enough to reflect. Number two is be mindful of what you're consuming. Like if you're consuming everything that goes against what you desire to do, what you put your attention on is what grows. So what you focus on is what continues to manifest. And when you make up your mind that you're no longer going to live in default mode, you're no longer going to, keep doing the same thing in your business that may not be yielding you the results that you desire. And I don't mean results by money, because I have many entrepreneurs who come to me who are already at their six-figure mark, right? So they come to me to scale, put systems in their business, and I've helped numerous business owners reach their six-figure mark. So not necessarily the results you want because of money, but the results you want because of how you want to earn the revenue, right? How you want to make it happen. If it's not transpiring the way that you desire it to do, I want you to be mindful of what you are consuming. It's important that you're in communities, you're in spaces, the books that you're reading, the YouTubes that you're watching are all in alignment with what it is that you really desire. You got to give yourself permission to believe that it's possible for you. So, one, you're going to take time to self-reflect. Two, you're going to be really mindful of what you're consuming, not just consuming in your ears and in your heart, but also what you're eating. Now more than ever, self-care is like on rise, right? People have redefined what they feel self-care is, which is absolutely amazing, because I believe this time has caused us to really get deeper into every concept that we face, and seeing that self-care isn't always just going to go get our nails and hair done, right? But it's much deeper. It's having time to ourselves, time to reflect, time to do things that really matter. I remember going to a conference many years ago now. I think this was back in like 2011. And one of the questions was, what makes you happy? And guys, I cried because I couldn't answer that question. I was on autopilot, like many of you may be. And I really hadn't even taken time out to see, who is this new lady? I'm not the same lady that I was 10 years ago or 5 years ago or last week for that matter. And I haven't, taken care of her. I haven't sat down and really reflected on who this person is that I've become. And the number of business owners who are building their business on autopilot, so they've grown, they've become a new individual, but their brand or their business has not grown with them. They haven't given themselves permission. The next thing, when we're wanting to live a very intentional life, is practicing active listening, like really listening to what's going on and what's, excuse me, transpiring for us. It's important. Just slowing down. I think so many people are afraid to slow down. If I slow down, it's FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. But I find it's in the times that we slow down that we're our most creative, that we get our biggest breakthroughs and our biggest ahas and our biggest opportunities. How many of you are using Clubhouse? I'm actually enjoying it. And the crazy thing is, originally, I was the one that said, oh no, I don't want to have anything to do with Clubhouse. It's just another app, something to keep me busy. I want no parts, right? So I denied it. People were telling me they were saving invites from me. And I wasn't with it. But guys, I'm so glad that I decided to get on Clubhouse, because my experience has been finding many people who are ready to live intentionally, to get off of autopilot, to get out of default mode and really design their destiny, really design the business and the lifestyle that they love, and not one that they're just tolerating. So I remember in the previous industry I was in, I remember getting this tug, like I had run my course, and I didn't really have any examples that was possible. I mean, if I could just be honest, because so often we're in a particular industry or we do something in corporate America And there's nobody around us that's doing this thing that's being dropped in our hearts. Nobody's doing it that way. So we don't have any examples. And we're like, is this possible? Can I even do this? Is this real? Am I just dreaming? Which I believe that we all should be in a space of dreaming and allow those dreams to turn to visions that we can actually manifest. But I remember just feeling like I can't do this anymore. I can't do this like this anymore. I can't. Like nothing in me will allow me to continue doing this. And I said that for about 2 to 3 years. And I remember the day specifically when I made the decision to close my brick and mortar business. I mean, of course, I didn't close it on that day, but I remember the day that I decided, right? And there was a measure of freedom that came over me in that moment. And everything since then has been absolutely amazing as it relates to my business because I gave myself permission to evolve, which I feel is what is not happening for so many of us. So many of us have had situations to happen. I know I'm divorced now. I was married for 14 years. And so many of us have things that have happened in our past that we're still holding on to that are impacting how we're doing business and how we're doing life. And we just can't move past whatever that thing was, right? In order to embrace something new. And when I became willing to release the roles that I used to play, even as the owner of my brick and mortar business, I was there for a decade. When I was willing to release what was good for what was great, what I knew could be great, everything changed. I began to be very intentional about every single thing that I did. So I invite you rather to really take a moment to reflect and think about what it is that you really believe, right? And think about what you truly value. Now, it may not be traditional. It may not be what the world says or even what you're hearing all the time. Oftentimes, those who do extremely well are those who decide to turn off all of the exterior voices that don't align with what it is they desire to do. Before I came on, I was thinking about people who live in small towns. So I'm from a really small town where I actually grew up. And I think about the number of people who never leave where they are from, and their perspective never really changes. Their space of expansion and possibility and what's possible is diminished by what's around them, what they see, and the limitations that present themselves in that particular space. And I just want to invite more people to say yes to evolving, to say yes to being super intentional about what it is that you're doing, what you're listening to, who you're connecting to, what you're aligning with. My decision to live intentionally, so it needs to align with my values, period. I've decided what my top five are. I have more than five, but if it's out of alignment with that, I'm not available for it. I'm just not. I've made that decision. And it has not steered me wrong. I've never been more fulfilled. I've never been as prosperous. And I've never been as certain about what I'm doing and how I'm serving and how I'm taking care of myself as well. And so I invite you to step into a space of intentionality about what it is that you're doing. I was sharing my experience on Clubhouse has been amazing, right? I absolutely love it because um, I'm getting to hear people be really authentic. And we don't always get to see that by what we post on social media or even a live broadcast like this, because sometimes we planned it out. But with Clubhouse, you're being asked questions on the spot, right? You either know it or you don't, right? And so I'm really beginning to value voice on a different measure in this season. I've always valued what I listen to and um, words, but now voice has taken on a whole new meaning to me in this season. So even on Clubhouse, I challenge you to be intentional about the rooms that you go in. If you're wanting to manifest something, go in rooms where they're affirming things, right? Be intentional with your time, with everything that you do. But I think Clubhouse is amazing because you really can be selective, right? So I host rooms. I'm on stage quite a bit in Clubhouse, and I love it. I just give value. I don't sell anything. I just give value. But the conversion has been amazing, and I think it's because we're actually experiencing these people behind the logos and the websites and pretty pics and all that stuff, right? And you can really hear what's real and what's not, right? Because of voice. So be intentional about what you're consuming, even in the voices that you're listening to and the spaces that you decide to be in. Let those things align with what it is that you want, not what you don't want, right? So take the gears out of autopilot and drive your life, right? Take the gears out of autopilot and get it out of default mode to a space where you're really designing your life. Life has taken on this new, richer, deeper feeling and meaning for me. And I invite you guys just to do the same. So my 3D Success Academy is now open for enrollment. And for those of you who really want to dive deep, maybe you want to reinvent yourself and your brand, join us. All of the details are here. Let me see if I can find it and let it go across the screen. But this is how you join. I won't go into the details. I'll do a broadcast where I'm just talking about the results that you get from joining. But we are open for enrollment, and it's really for women who are really ready to do their brand from the inside out and align it with their values and build a business that is time rich while they're on their journey to financial freedom. They have time freedom too. I think it's so important, right? But that's my take. Intentional living, building your business through intentional living. Start being really intentional about everything that you do from a space of possibility, right? Knowing that what you desire to do is possible. That's my take. You guys be blessed. I'll see you next Wednesday, 9 o'clock for Bill with Tanya Live.